Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Ali. Welcome to Other Man's Life. Thanks for stopping by. I know it's been a while. Adulting has really taken up my time for the past couple of months, but I've been working in the backgrounds for with some really exciting stuff. I can't wait to share with you. There's going to be some really cool stuff coming on the channel, so stay tuned for that. However, in the meantime, I still have been messing around with some Lego, and I took the plunge in another way to spend money on Lego, which is taking my first ever lighting kit. You know, I've seen so many social media posts and other people's videos and pictures of how they've lit up their Lego city, and it looks phenomenal, looks amazing. I thought, I really want to have a go at that. I mean, I was very hesitant about it, but I thought, let me try. And the reason I was very hesitant about it was due to many reasons. One, from a cost perspective, and also the kits are usually for the official modulars or official sets, and I have a lot of mocks in my city. And also the installation of the lighting, I can see, is extremely fiddly. But having said that, I thought let's try it out, and I just thought I'd share my thoughts. If you're thinking about lighting, hopefully some of my comments and ideas and my view on it might help you in your Lego city if you're thinking about having some lighting in there. Okay, so let's get right into it. So as you can see, the first lighting set I decided upon was the Parisian Restaurant. And it's quite fitting actually, because the Parisian Restaurant was my first ever modular building that I purchased from Lego. It's the one that got me hooked on modular buildings and to then inspire me to build a city. And I did see a lighting kit by Lightailing. I've heard a lot of good stuff about them. I think there's other companies out there that provide lighting kits, but I've heard some good stuff about these guys. So I thought it was fairly inexpensive to check out, and also it didn't seem that complex to light up. There wasn't a lot of little bulbs everywhere to light up. So I thought it'll give a great base to understand how to light up and to install lighting into a building, and be able to give me some idea of the effort that would be involved for the rest of the city, and specifically my mocks as well, as is bespoke. You would need bespoke kits for that. But I have to say, on the surface, when I installed it, it was fairly painless. The instructions are great that came with it. It's split up into a few bags, and it's quite easy to follow through. But I was really surprised of how little lighting bulbs or essence or elements there was. And that adage and that saying that a little goes a long way is so true then when I see the end result. And it looks beautiful all lit up. You can really then see inside the interiors really nicely and clearly. And then also, you know, they haven't forgotten about the rear of the building. You've got the nice behind the building all lit up as well. You can see the interiors and the terrace and the lamps that you have in there. So it's done really well, and it looks really nice when it's in the city, on the street, and you can see that building beautifully done. I was really impressed of how little and how bright it actually does make the interiors come out, and then the subtle lighting all around the exterior of the building. So from an aesthetic point of view, from an installation point of view, it was very painless. I was very surprised, and the end result just looks amazing. So, I mean, with that being said, we may assume it's a no-brainer that, hey, okay, let me start getting lighting kits for all my modulars. You know, easy, done. Here's my wallet, you know. However, but here's the thing. There's a few things that really still niggle at me after I've had my experience on this. The first thing is, look at the back. I mean, it's a mess. I mean, this power bank that is used. It's got 3 batteries in there, and it's all connected via USB to all the individual lighting elements, so as a daisy chain, all together, more or less. And but it's so obvious there. I mean, that power bank is just there. And for someone like me who does utilize the rear of the buildings and creating alleyways and tries to put in a lot of hidden gems and scenes and stories in there, you kind of lose that if you've got a big ugly power bank stuck in the middle. And also the wires are just a mess as well at the back, because you're trying to get everything around and then connected to the power bank, and then you can see it's all stranding out there. I mean, it doesn't look nice at all, very messy, and for my OCD that just doesn't look nice. But again, there is ways to mitigate all of that. I mean, there are real workable solutions. I mean, you could very simply, you could probably get an extension for the USB wire, so then you can get it out of the site, so it's not so close to the building. You can probably use the mill system. If you've got the mill system in place, you can use the channels in underneath in the mill's plate to hide all the wirings as well, like a real house. Or you can even, I've seen some people even drill holes, strategic holes, or they have holes on their Lego table, so they can put everything underneath the table, out of sight completely, and all the power banks and source of the power is all stored there. I mean, I think for a lot of people can do that. For me personally, and this is just personal to me, for my city, because of the lack of space that I have, and space is premium, I do a lot of changing of the city. I like to swap buildings out, put in new ones, depending on my mood. I don't have an infinite amount of space that I can just keep on building a whole Lego city, so I like to chop and change, and with the new creations and the buildings I have, just to put them in. Now, if they all had lighting on there, I can just only imagine the nightmare would be to disconnect everything and then take it out and make sure it doesn't break and then reinstall it. It just seems like a hair-tearing kind of activity to do, unless I can think of a way, and I'm sure you guys will be able to comment to see if it's possible or not, to make it truly a plug-and-play kind of setup. I'm sure there is a way to do that. I have to think about it. The other thing linking on to that then is when I keep chopping and changing things around, is then very key for us is playability. When all the lighting is installed, it's great. It's an easier process. But unfortunately, because it's all wired and it's all linked together, when you try and take off the modules, the modulars, the layers, you cannot take them off completely, because obviously there's a wire connected to it. So you can probably just lift it up a little bit and then get a minifigure in there or whatever, but it just seems very painful. And for us, we like to look inside the buildings, and we spend a lot of time creating interiors, and we want to create scenes and place minifigures, and we do play. Especially with my son, we love to play with the interiors of these buildings. I mean, that's what Lego is all about, to play. Maybe not so much for other adults who like to just have a display, but for us, we love to play with this toy. Call us crazy, but so it can be a bit of a challenge, to disassemble, put it together, and do that. Granted, we don't play all the time, so it may be a bigger deal than it actually is. Nonetheless, it is still time. It's still time to do that, and in my view, it's unnecessary time. And when you're an adult, as I just clearly said at the start of the video, when you're adulting, time is precious, right? But that's a very personal thing for us. And lastly, the other thing is cost. I mean, we cannot ignore the cost. I mean, as a one-off kit, to get this, to install it, to make it nice, great, cheap. It's pretty inexpensive to do that, say as an accessory. But with my moderately small size city, when you've got at least 20 modulars, and over half of them are mocks and not official modulars or official sets, that cost can quickly increase up and become a rather expensive accessory. Especially then if you want to put all those workable solutions in, like I talked about earlier, of plug and play and hiding things around, it can be quite expensive. But again, to mitigate that, you don't always have to get the real lighting kit. I mean, I've used just to see what it was like. I got these like very micro LED lights from a pound shop, from a really cheapo shop around Christmas time, because that's when all the lights come out and decoration comes out. It gives a pretty nice effect. I mean, yes, you still have the same problem of the power bank and all this kind of stuff, but if you just want to add a little bit of light, there is ways around it that you can use things like a micro LED, maybe just even one of those little battery operated lighters that you can get, just put it in there just to give the illusion of a little bit of light. So, as opposed to getting always official, true bespoke lighting kits for the building. So I think some kind of subjectivity can be applied, when it comes to the lighting kit. After all of that, I mean, really, then the big question is, hey, Ali, do I really want to continue investing and working on having lighting in the rest of my city based on all these kind of thoughts that I've had? The answer is actually, yeah. and purely because of how great it looks. All those things I talked about, again, there's ways to mitigate it and there's ways to work around it and to do that, and it takes time, which I suppose is quite enjoyable to do, actually. Come and think about it, it's a puzzle, But again, it just comes down to the aesthetic, that it looks really, really nice. And, when I just place one building in the city, I can only just imagine what the rest of the buildings will look like when they're all lit up, especially in low light. It's going to look so beautiful, it's so nice. It gives a different level of dynamic to your city, and then be able to create some really nice shots and stories and scenes at nighttime with all these lighting kits. It's worth it. But I think all those kind of points we need to take consideration of how to be able to do that. That isn't going to completely destroy our wallets, our frustration, and to actually keep making it enjoyable. I'm going to continue one way or another. I'll figure it out, and I'm going to share that with you of how I've done it when I get more lighting kits. But it's worth it. It really is worth it. But anyway, in out of all of that, I really hope these thoughts or these ideas or this kind of review has kind of helped you. Think about some of the things in your city or in your setups. If you're considering of getting lighting for your city, and please let me know if you've already got lighting. How some advice on how you've done it. That'd be great to see. As always, I'll catch you next time. Take care of yourself. Stay blessed. Stay healthy. Peace and love. Ciao, ciao.